Anyhow, welcome back to the 2% podcast. Kiambu Finchers, Ro Coleman, Harrison Ray. Another episode, another special guest, teammate of ours, former teammate of ours. World Series appearance, 2017 first round pick, 5th overall. We got World Series champ in the crib with us today.
20-game winner in the show. In the show.
That got a good ring to it.
I'll take that.
Okay, we got our man K-Dub. Cal Wright with us, man. What's up, my guy?
What's up? I appreciate that introduction. That was nice.
Hey, that was fire. Yeah.
That might be our best one so far.
That was pretty good.
Hype me up a little bit.
Yeah, but yeah, man. So we talk about, he's a 2%er, and being a professional athlete, even less than that. And so talking about high school people, athletes, and getting an opportunity to play in college, and only 2% of them make it to the Division I level. And that's across men, women, all sports, And so we're talking about that. We're talking about the journey, talking about the process and what it takes to get to that point to where you play at a place like Vanderbilt. And so walk us through, from Huntsville, Alabama, walk us through your process and how you got, to Vandy.
So like I said, grew up Huntsville, Alabama. Played baseball all my life, and I always wanted to play baseball. My dad was a coach from the day I was born. Both my brothers played baseball, so baseball is kind of something that we always did. I enjoyed other sports, but I kind of knew my future was going to be in baseball. And growing up, I was a huge Alabama fan, and I still am. So I always thought I was gonna, play baseball at Alabama. That was kind of my goal. But then I got to high school, and that was the one thing my dad told me. He said, when you're gonna pick a college, you got to pick based off the baseball program, not the football program.
Facts.
So kind of with that being said, that's when I really started to, look at places, and Vanderbilt was the one that stood out to me. And, I think it was probably the best decision I ever made in my life was to go to Vanderbilt for more than just one reason. Obviously baseball is a pretty good one, but school, friendships, still live here now. So, but I think, it kind of all started with my family, and baseball is what we did. And, so that's kind of started with them.
Did you do any perfect game stuff, or like that whole recruitment trail, going to the Jupiter and the tournaments at the complex in Atlanta? Like, did you do all that stuff, or they saw you play and you just went to Vandy? Yeah,
so I never did like any actual showcases. I played in the tournaments. That was some of the best places to go play.
Yeah.
But the one showcase that I did was actually, it wasn't even a perfect game. It was just a local high school one. I did it my sophomore year, and that was kind of when some schools started to notice me. But other than that, it was just, go play, which I'm kind of glad I did it that way. I think there's some good things of all that stuff. Sometimes you got to find a way to get yourself seen. But for me, it was mostly just, go play.
Just go play.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Talk about, that first year, and then you get on campus, you move in, all that. Give us like just that first fall, talk to us about that first fall, what it was like, being at Vandy, like you here now, so, and the guys that's on that team as well, what they did the previous year, they just won the College World Series in 2014, and then you get there the following year, and so I know that's different.
It was intimidating, very intimidating.
Yeah.
One, coming in, I didn't expect to play, like just because I kind of knew who the guys we had there. Yeah. So I just kind of expected, the minimum when it come to playing. But remember we getting there the first time, the first workout, I still tell everyone to this day that's the hardest workout I ever did. And it wasn't even that hard. Realistically, it wasn't that hard. It was just, you're just so mentally like stressed and trying not to do wrong. And
you don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I remember after the stretch, I was exhausted because the stretch took 30 minutes.
I forgot about that, bro.
The worst part that first day.
I died our first one.
Tired after the stretch. literally almost wheezing off the stretch.
Trying to be a super freshman.
Yeah. And then you got to go run for however long. And I remember walking off, we were on the upper turf at the time. I remember walking down, I said, I'm done. I don't want to play anymore. This is terrible. And then, it got progressively easier after that. But like I said, it was very intimidating. Luckily I was the only one that felt that way. It was
of course.
the entire freshman class. But it was, it's funny, like looking like after my freshman year, like, Rose a sophomore, he's probably looking at us, laughing at us like, you guys thought that was tough, this, that, and the other. But yeah, it was intimidating, but it was a good, I feel like you were definitely in the right place.
What was that workout that we had? Corb shut it down. This was
my freshman year.
Yeah,
That was
so
his
my
freshman
freshman year.
His
your
freshman
senior
year, junior year.
your junior year. And it might have been the first workout.
No, it was the first workout because
workout.
the freshmen couldn't pass it. They couldn't get through the whole workout.
I think we got to stretch, and then we didn't run the mile. We did everything, but we did
We didn't do the
push-ups
mile.
and sit-ups.
We did a push-up thing. It had like the little hurdle, a band going across the hurdle. We had to touch the hurdle with our back.
Come all the way up. Yep.
Like my arms this far off the ground, and then I think Coors went to Hammer, or Hammer went to Coors. One of those, like,
we can't.
Hey man, we can't do this.
Bro, everybody was throwing up.
Yeah.
Everybody. I remember I looked over. I was next to Jaren, bro, and we was just bent over. I was like,
You threw up.
Yeah, I'm saying I was bent over right next to Jaren, and I was like, bro, this is
Yeah, a lot
not
of people
good.
did throw it that day.
That was my freshman year though, so I was.
What's that supposed to mean?
It was the first time I had no idea what I was getting into.
Soft, bro. No, going off your freshman year, Dub. I know, like, coming into Vandy, trying to do everything right, and you got a guy like Corbs, obviously, and you're recruiting visit and things like that. He's pretty chill, whatever. We all got the story where he told us this ain't the place for you. Me specifically, I remember facing a guy like Stephen Rice. He just lit me up. Like, I had no chance against him. Like, Corbs just tell me, like, take your ass back to Chicago, right? Like, you don't deserve to be here. Tell us about one of those stories where Corb got into you. He's like, man, I may need to go back to Huntsville.
Yeah. Like I said, I think we all got several of those. I feel like I've got two pretty good ones. One my freshman year and one my junior year, my sophomore year, sorry. One my freshman year was we showed up a little bit late, and Corbs made sure that he got into me and my roommates very well. Matt Rupenthal, me and him both experienced that firsthand, not to be late anymore. So it wasn't fun. And then we didn't get to come to practice for 2 days. So you just feel like
You got banged.
you just feel lost. That, like, it's not like at first it's like, oh, this is nice. Then you just like, man, I do not feel comfortable.
You feel like you're forgetting something.
Yes, exactly. Because you know how Corbs, you got to be.
Yeah.
So when you actually have that much free time, it's
weird.
It eats at you.
It's weird.
Just eats at you.
Yeah.
So that was probably like my one where I learned my lesson. Let's show up on time, and on time means
Super early.
Super early, plenty of time in advance. He got us good on that one. And then another one wasn't even because of performance. It was because I was just acting a little immature, a little childish.
I can't see that, bro.
And Corb just kind of challenged me a little bit, but it was because coming after in winter break, I pulled my oblique, and so so I couldn't play anything, I couldn't do anything, and then I finally got to the point, I'd done enough where I was able to throw, and it felt pretty good. So I finally got to get off the mound, and I got off the mound, and it still felt terrible. So I was in a real pissy mood like the rest of practice. I did my pin, then we had to go to PFP. And you guys know how intense our PFP is. If you've never seen it before, it's
intense.
Something else.
There's a lot going on.
So I was doing mine. I wasn't throwing, and I wasn't even I was kind of going, slow motion a little bit because, like I said, my oblique wasn't feeling right. I just wasn't happy. So I was just doing it, and Corbs kind of kept chirping at me a little bit, like, what's the deal here? And he kind of kept going, and eventually I fielded one. And I turned to second. We were doing seconds, and I threw it as hard as I could. And I'm pretty sure I launched it into center field. And Corbs just let me have it. And I knew what he was doing. Now I knew what he was doing. He was trying to see how I'd handle it, trying to get a reaction out of me. Well, he did.
He did.
And I think it kind of was, me. So me and him kind of got into it a little bit then. And I think it was that whole ordeal was kind of good for two different reasons. One, he ate at me and I blew up. So I kind of learned, like, hey, you gotta
Yeah.
That's going to happen in baseball, especially as you go up. People are going to chirp, like fans, other team. It's going to happen. So you got to find a way to control yourself. So that was like the one lesson I learned. And then 2 was also like, which I think he enjoyed, is that I did kind of come back at him. You know, I did
he liked that.
He loves that. He liked that.
I didn't just lay down, because like my freshman year when we got in trouble, me and Roop did, we both kind of laid down because we were like, oh God. But then this time I came back at him, and I think, I don't know if this is for sure or not, but I know Corbs well enough. I think he probably liked it after it was over.
He turned around smiling.
Yeah. So those are 2 pretty good ones I had.
No, that's real, man.
No, man. So me, I remember. So let's fast forward a little bit to your junior year. You are, you know, everybody hears the talks. You know, top prospect going in for the 2017 draft. You know, the whole team knows it, and the country knows it. And so you're our guy. Like you are our guy and our Friday night guy. But first, let's just talk about that conversation with Corbs when you get, you know, we all had those exit meetings after, you know, the fall finishes up. Like, what was that meeting like, and when he told you that you're gonna be like our Friday guy?
Yeah, I think it was pretty easy going, but Corbs is big on like emphasizing they all matter. And that's one thing I feel like I really bought into, was that. Mm-hmm. So for me, I didn't think much of it. I just like, you know, it's another game. But that being said, I think I tried to do too much because I don't know if you guys remember. I got pushed to Saturday because I was struggling. And I was struggling pretty bad. And at the same time, like after one of my outings, my arm was like, it was just like a little tired. Yeah. And so like that was, you know, that was the time where Corb's like, you know, because Raby was pitching behind me and he was pitching really well. So it was like kind of a perfect time. Like I wasn't pitching up to that standard. And it like kind of found time to give me an extra day. I'll say that because it was just kind of like, you know, it's time to make a change.
Yeah, I know what it was. But how was that like dealing with that? You know, I don't know if you felt the expectations. Because sometimes it was like you were executing pitches and it was just hitting. You know, like we playing teams before SC play started. We playing freaking Pepperdine and like guys who would hit off you who shouldn't be hitting off you. You know, and I know that had to be frustrating, like to play these teams that we're supposed to dominate and it's not, you know, that type of showman. Yeah,
it was frustrating, and there's a lot of things that went into it. One, it was just those teams they were scrapping me. Like it wasn't just, you know, let it rip and see what happens. It was, you know, they were finding a way to foul balls off, put balls in play. Like, because early on, again, from what I remember, I wasn't getting hit super hard.
No, it was hard. It was little beaters everywhere. Bloopers.
Yeah. But the next thing you know, you get high pitch counts, and then you get that big hit, and there's 2 runs, there's 3 runs. So it happens like that. It happens real quick. So then I think I tried to do more and more and more, and then I kind of started to lose my curveball. My command wasn't as good. So for me, it was like, I guess I was trying to do the right thing, but I was just going about it the wrong way until, you know, I finally got to the point to where, you know, we made the adjustments that we needed.
So do you think it was more of a mental thing for you, like going through that stretch?
I think it was both. I think it was both. I think it kind of started with I wasn't quite right, and then it started getting to me mentally, and then it was like both things were wrong. So like mechanics were now even worse than they were. Mentally, I'm trying to do even more than is necessary, and then it just kind of became like, you know, what's going on here? So it was just kind of real. It's crazy how quickly things can kind of start rolling on you if you're not, you know, ready for it. Yeah.
I remember that game where the tides turned for you, and I still watch it sometimes, man. I watch you with the Braves, but I also watch that game sometimes because I like seeing people. First time I seen you like get excited and like show some like real raw emotion.
Who was that? Florida?
That Florida game, bro.
I remember that. I was gonna bring that up.
Ks,
I was in right
and like
field.
he was just rolling, and then like on that last K, I think it was 9th inning or whatever.
Yep.
He get off the mound, was like, oh, I'm like.
He looked right at Jason. Like, I was like, damn.
Turn me up, man. Turn me up.
I knew he had it in him.
Yeah. So like that game was like the script just flipped that game, and then the games after that weekend was just boom, 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 boom. It was
dope.
You know?
Yeah, that one felt really good. That was probably like my best outing in my career for a couple of different reasons. One, obviously the results. It was you know, Complete game. I still remember. Complete game.
Complete game.
99
Oh,
pitches, 13 strikeouts.
Yeah.
So I
Talk
remember
your shit.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
But and then at the same time, that was when I flipped the switch, and it all started because it was after, I can't remember who played the week before. It might have been, I think it was Texas A&M maybe, and I pitched okay. Or no, it was Kentucky. I think we were on the road at Kentucky, and I pitched bad, and this was when we were like, all right, this is enough.
Yeah.
And so on that Monday, it was the same thing. Me, Brownie, and Matt Rupenthal, we were in the lab, and we literally were just trying all kinds of different things, mechanically. I probably threw 50 plus pitches just into the net trying to find it. And then all of a sudden, we kind of found that one mechanical cue, and you can immediately see the difference in my curveball. The shape, everything was back. And it was literally, you don't always have a light bulb moment, but that was the light bulb moment. And then to be able to take it into that Saturday, and that was the best, my curveball been that whole year by far, to have that kind of outing and then kind of roll from there. I think it just kind of goes to show that, again, even though how quickly things can spiral, you can very quickly slow them down too. You're always way closer than you think you are, even though, because this happened to me in my pro ball career too. I'd look, the positive looks so far away, but you're not that far from what you think you are. So I think it's just kind of interesting how quickly things can change,
For sure. I got to switch it up a little bit. So I remember my freshman year, I remember lifting with you. These two don't, because they were too small. They were on the other end of the weight room. We were over there really moving some weight. So are you still getting after it in the weight room or what?
Nah, I'm getting a little too old.
I feel you.
No, I can still move it, but not like I could.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell them you used to throw up some numbers.
Yeah.
Me, you, and Gersh.
Yeah. We had some good lifting groups, good squat groups. Trap bar. That was my special.
Yeah, that was a big number.
You had the squats.
I think they had the bands that go around the place to keep the place on there.
Bro,
Not for you, it was for him.
Yeah,
it was for both of us.
Nah,
y'all weren't there. Remember, y'all were on the other end of the weight room because y'all had the little plates.
The light racks.
Yeah.
Whoa.
See exactly what I'm talking about.
I moved weight. I don't know about him. I don't know about him.
All I'm saying is, where were y'all? Y'all were on the other.
Who's stronger now though?
Who was on the strong side?
Bro, anyhow,
Moving forward.
God damn.
Do you remember Tom, his freshman year, this guy's freshman year? Remember this guy losing to Grassani in a race?
I think so. Now, yeah.
That's true. That happened, but we could pull the numbers up. Who got the most stolen bases in this room?
So moving on.
Exactly.
Sounds like the numbers have been pulled up before.
Exactly.
Moving on.
Good
moving
try.
on, man. So everybody, has the World Series appearance. You've been a freshman on that 2015 team, and athlete pitching, coming out the bullpen and pitching. I believe y'all played.
He was at Illinois.
Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah, Illinois.
Watch that.
To go
DP
to-
was there.
To go to Omaha.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Dub closed it out.
You closed it out, yeah.
Actually, he came out hot. He was like 97, 98. I was like, oh, shit. Damn.
I was literally 88 to 92 the whole year.
Yeah.
And then the regionals and super regionals, all of a sudden I was like 5'6".
Shit. He was blowing that shit.
Yeah.
He was blowing it.
That shit makes sense.
Yeah, it did.
Ah, man. Yeah, just tell us about that moment, man. Just that whole experience, who y'all played in the regional that year in 15?
Indiana.
We beat Indiana.
Okay, yeah, that's when Dan said that. He had that play.
Yeah,
he had
Indiana.
that play.
That's the backhand.
Oh, shit.
Lipscomb.
That's a crazy ass play.
Lipscomb was in that?
Lipscomb was in that one.
Yeah.
It was somebody I can't remember.
Radford.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah,
Who it was?
Radford.
Yeah.
Whew.
I see everybody got the game with
final.
that.
We beat them in the final pretty
that
rough.
one.
Bro, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
What y'all put, like 28?
It was three touchdowns, I think it
Something
was.
like that.
Sheesh.
Sorry about that, Radford.
But yeah, man. So y'all in Champaign. Y'all playing Illinois. Illinois, and going to the World Series. Just talk us about that experience. We all know it's a one in a lifetime type of experience, and just give us the rundown.
Yeah. There's no place like Omaha. Like, still
Right.
to this day, that's one of the coolest baseball experiences that I've ever had. I'm sure you guys probably agree with it. But so to even just, that's what you play for. You play to win, and that's like the ultimate goal. So to be in the Super Regionals, have a chance to win, and then I got to close it out too. That was pretty cool. But like I said, that's why you play the game.
Yeah.
Sometimes the same thing. I'll still go back and watch that just because it's fun. Those are fun memories.
Man.
You can you can watch a video of it and it's like you're right back in
right there. Same
back
emotion, same feeling,
Yeah.
man.
How was that moment closing it out and then seeing Dansby go number 1?
Yeah.
Right after
Dang, that's right.
That was the craziest day ever. Yeah, we literally closed it out, dog piled, everybody celebrates, and then before I don't even know if Corbs got to talk to us afterwards. It was like straight to Dan's. I remember Dansby's brother came on the field and he's got the phone and we're all watching it, literally on the field right there on third baseline. So you had that, and then
you got to the hotel, right?
Well, no. So then then Corbs has a speech, and then we're going to get ready on the bus. Before we get on the bus, we're all waiting. And then Fulmer gets drafted.
Shit. I didn't know.
Then we get
on the bus. Then Buehler got drafted.
God damn.
Bro, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest days I've ever been a part of, for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely nice, man.
I forgot Fulmer in the middle of that one.
Yeah, he was. So y'all in the World Series, and I forget who y'all playing. Y'all had a break, I believe, in 15, like a rain delay.
First game, we were Cal State Fullerton, right?
Yep.
They were beating us. Then we had it rained. We had to stop the game. We come back next
3-2 count, I believe, on Xander.
Xander, yeah.
First
back,
pitch, like right field.
Yeah, came back the next day.
Then Jaren hit the jack after that.
Walk off.
Yeah, it was walk. Yeah, it was a walk off. God,
best rain delay in Vanderbilt history right there.
Yeah, that rain delay sucked, bro.
I remember it was Eshwin. He was pitching that game and he was incredible.
This dude had like 2 walks the whole year, bro.
Yeah, literally.
God, dog.
Yeah. Best rain delay in Vanderbilt baseball history.
I think did you guys a service?
Yeah.
Hey, G was looking out for y'all for that one.
Yeah, we needed that one.
Y'all had any hotel stories in Omaha? Like, I know you got some stuff, but y'all,
we used to cut up in the hotel.
I mean, us I think it was like just more like card games. Like we go to each other's room, play card games, pranks.
Nobody could get in the shot. We were pouring water on people.
No, we want not. That's my like in Omaha. We want to do that in Omaha.
No, Omaha. I think Dublin. Yeah, everybody's in our room. Like the first few days, you don't really have nothing to do. Like me and Chef, we had the party room, so everybody's in our room. Like nobody's supposed to be in a room, whatever. So like, kind of talk about how that was. Like being a freshman, where you're not probably supposed to be doing certain things, but you actually enjoying the Omaha experience.
Yeah, it's once again like probably not supposed to do it, but again like that like Corbs love it. He loved that we're spending time together, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you think about. Like you're spending time with the boys, and it helps that usually we were like my room was Jason DeLay, so it's like if he's doing it, I'm good, right?
Jason does. We all good.
He's catching, so it's fine. But like that's fun. That's part of why Vanderbilt's so great. I mean, I'm sure there's other places that do that too, but like it's like that all the time. It's authentic. It's never like a force. Like let's pretend to go be friends. Like it was all like fun. Like you said, it's pranks. It's like nonstop messing with each other.
Everybody giving everybody shit 24/7.
Exactly, and that's what's why it was so fun to play right there.
Man, we had our year 19. We were there. They were doing like concerts and stuff in that like right by the field.
Right by the field.
Garden thing. They was doing this concert. We got a curfew. I think curfew was probably 11 or midnight, depending if we had a game the next day.
Depending on what time the game was,
and it's like don't be out after curfew.
Make sure you in by curfew.
And I was never the one to to do things that Cora said not to do. But it got to like 11, like 11:40, 11:50. We all out there partying, and I'm all right, about that time to head on in, And so I leave, I ain't gonna say no names who stayed out, but we all close to the person. And I'm like, hey, bro, it's about time to go. I tapped him, let him know just because, he had a couple, brewskis in him, just because he didn't know what time it was. I let him know, hey, and he done found him something, found him a little something there at the thing, and I guess he was trying to. Anyhow, so I let him know.
A little situation.
situation.
We had a little situation in Omaha.
So I get back to the hotel, and long story short, my guy, next day, I don't think he got back to the hotel probably like 2 a.m. 2 a.m, and he's pretty blasted the next day. Like he's feeling it. But we was like, he told us that he ran into, he ran into, like, luckily, like, dang, I probably, well, anyhow, he was cool about it, but like, I'm trying to, I know you're not gonna say, your story,
Yeah, you can't say your story, bro.
I mean, you could, but you're not gonna.
He was a real one.
Keep that one. But like going back to coming into college, you were a two-way guy, but I saw you put on some shows in BP. Like you probably had the most pop on out of anybody on the team.
Not probably, he did.
Between either him or Smitty for sure.
BP, that man was hitting. He was hitting the bottom of the scoreboard.
They hit him things freaking Starbucks, dog.
The scoreboard. That's
no, it was different, man. But how was that process, knowing that you weren't gonna be able to play the field anymore?
Yeah. So growing up, I always liked playing, like being in the field more than pitching. Like I pitched because I was good at it, but I liked hitting. I liked fielding. I was pretty good at that too, but. Sometimes like I said, I got to Vandy and I got my first fall and I did okay hitting. I didn't get a lot of bats. I was always pitcher first, but like did fine. But like you start to do that more and you just realize how challenging it is to hit, and then try to do both. So I think you got to the point, I remember my freshman fall, I broke my wrist. So that was kind of, couldn't hit for, I don't know, it was 6 weeks or so. I remember we got to SEC play and I could finally like take BP again. But at the time I was pitching pretty good and our lineup was stacked. So that was like me and Corbs kind of at the same time, like, let's probably the time.
business move.
So I think it was like, I guess I was upset that I didn't get to hit anymore, but at the same time, like I understood it happened. I'm glad that it happened like organically. It was like, it wasn't just, it wasn't like it was just like that. It was kind of building up. And like I said, I was starting to kind of come into my own a little bit as a pitcher. And again, our lineup was stacked and we were playing good baseball. So it was just kind of one of those things that just happened. It made sense, but still, like I said, still miss hitting, but I'm glad I don't have to do it anymore.
And to kind of add on to that, do you feel like you never just specifically pick one position or just being a PO? Do you feel like being a hitter your entire life leading up to college helped you become a better pitcher?
100%. It's athleticism, right? I feel like as a pitcher, sometimes we get so lost in like mechanics and like moving this, that, and the other. Sometimes it's about being an athlete.
Yeah.
And I feel like the best position players are really good athletes because they move well, they have good body control, have good hands. So I think to that point, probably everything I learned playing infield, hitting, has helped me as a pitcher. And I think you can probably take that into other sports too. Like growing up, I never like played competitively in high school, like basketball and football, which probably wish I would have because I love those sports, but I was always still playing them. So I think like the more you can kind of do things and create athleticism is going to make you a better whatever you want to be. So for me, it's a pitcher. I think being an athlete is one of the best things you can do. That's like the best mechanic you can have is just be athletic and not get so lost sometimes in how you move, my hips doing this, whatever it may be. So I think definitely, it had helped big time.
Would you say pitchers are better athletes than position players?
Hell no.
Of course.
Whoa.
Hell no.
Oh, you said of course they're better athletes.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Maybe
It's a hot take.
speak for yourself.
Yeah,
though,
you are not the normal, but
Roop's a good athlete.
No, yeah.
who else? Who else?
I can't think of nobody
I'm trying to
else.
think best pitchers
Chef
that we had.
was a good athlete.
Chef.
Yeah, you asked that to me, so I'm going to say it. But
Yeah.
realistically,
We got some people got two
We
left
had
feet
some other
for
guys
sure.
that-
There's some pitchers that make you wonder how can they
question.
throw 90. They're throwing 98, but they can't
Exactly.
walk straight. It doesn't make sense.
I remember when I came in and it's like I'm looking at the guys, look at the pictures, and like no disrespect, it's like majority of pitchers don't look like anything, But then they get on the mound, it's like piss rods. Like it's
gotta get
just
the right shoulder.
SpongeBob. I was like, You're like, where's this coming from? They look like nothing. Some of them weird. Lefties are always weird.
They
in
get
terms
off
of,
the
like,
mound,
actual
you're like,
personality traits, like weird, you know. And then they just got.
They step on that mound and it's just
a
like a
whole
different person.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, like.
But again, to that point, like couldn't shoot a basketball, right? You know, could never make contact with the baseball, but then they can
got a point, bro.
throw 95 and
with a banger
right here.
Yeah, man.
Not fun.
What was like your welcome? You know, either give like your one like fall ball moment, you know, whatever year, what freshman year, and then like your one in the season, like welcome to like SEC play type of thing, like either a hitter or an outing that you had was like shit, like damn.
So in fall, I can't really remember. I think my first freshman year, I think I had a decent fall.
Okay.
So I can't remember that. Even if I gave up a home run, I wouldn't have remembered anyways. But I remember my freshman year, my first one was, it was actually, I guess it was before I got the SEC play. It was my first start, or it was my second start, I'm sorry. I had a good first start. I went like 6 innings, no runs. But then my next one, I think I threw like 40 pitches in the first, and that was it.
Sheesh.
And that was like, I think I had like 4 walks in that inning and a couple hits, and I was like, that was when I said, okay, like you got to find a way to get out of it. But I'm trying to think. And then maybe my sophomore year, like my first, like when I really got rocked in SEC play was against Texas A&M in the SEC championship. I gave up, I think it was 8 runs.
Did y'all get no hit? Was that no time? You
No. That was.
This was in the
senior.
SEC tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, I literally my last 2 starts that year was Texas A&M, and I gave up 8 or 9 runs. And then my next one was Washington. I gave up like 7
Didn't
runs.
Texas A&M beat us twice in the SEC tournament too, or something like that?
Did they run rule y'all that year?
I know they faced.
They might have.
I know.
Yeah, no, they did. Because remember they had a tip on. They had a tip on Fulmer.
Oh my dog. I never seen Fulmer get hit like this
I was
ever.
watching that.
There was like
We were all just in the dugout
like
like
it was.
they checking off everything. We in the dugout like, dog, what the hell is going on?
They ain't swinging no breaking balls.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Even if they try to say they had a tip, I know they did.
Facts. never saw that shit. But now, talking about SEC play, what was some of the best environment you felt like to play in?
Probably Texas A&M was a really good one. LSU was a lot of fun. The one place I didn't get to play, which I was probably going, was Mississippi State. I don't know if you guys played there or not.
I got to go there my freshman year.
I got to imagine that place is pretty good.
The ground was shaking my freshman year.
I hate to give them credit for this because they were ruthless, but Ole Miss, it's really a great environment, but they were ruthless. So
when did you go? Junior year?
It was my junior year, yeah.
That was the year that we almost got in the fight.
Tough, right?
Tough.
It was
tough and row. It was tough and row.
And then I came running in from the outfield.
Yeah.
And then I was surprised to look in the dugout.
Hey, hold on now. Let me sit up real quick.
I was surprised. I thought I was gonna see him in the back of the dugout, but he was on the top step ready to go. But
what happened? I think some dude said something.
I was on the field.
He ran over Kaiser,
Kaiser.
and then I don't know if he said something or I don't know if he walked up and said, "Are you okay?" But no, talk crazy. He went over there.
The hockey came out of top. He was checking right for
And
it.
then I ran
I was
in.
like, damn.
Yeah.
Toph was hot, bro. Toph came in that thing hot.
All right, bro. We already said it, bro.
See, you told me. Get the facts right. I was on the field.
Ole Miss was definitely lit.
Yeah.
So y'all, I remember.
Bortles.
Huh?
Bortles hit up.
Yeah. I forgot about
I wasn't even gonna talk about. I was gonna talk about the Levitt situation. Well,
Bro, it was rowdy. It got bad.
Like we was y'all
Situation
like
got
leaving
bad.
and like the fans like talking trash. It's like y'all leaving and like chirping, but like no one said anything back. The players, but somebody.
There was 2 people.
Somebody on staff said something, and Coors went berserk on the staff member. It was
Because
like,
Tracy said something too.
it's like,
I don't know if anybody
it's like
knew
these
about
kids
that.
aren't saying anything. Why you guys saying something? Something like that. But
Yeah.
nah, I know. What's the? Will you say Ole Miss is the place where they talk the most trash? I thought Clemson was okay because the bullpen, the fans are right there on top of y'all as y'all warming up.
Yeah. Yeah. Clemson, I thought they were fine. Probably Ole Miss for sure. LSU, like their fans are in it, but like they're like really good baseball fans. It's like, which is cool. Like you make a good play if you're on their team, like
appreciate it.
But they're still like on you, but it's like fun. Ole Miss, I'd say, is by far like just the most ruthless, like just out to get you. There is no like creativity to it. It's just
Right at you.
They in your face the whole time.
But so.
Now, speak on your junior year leading up to the draft, and I know like you had a great first year, a good sophomore season as well. But did you expect, even coming into college, to be a first rounder?
Honestly, not at all. You know, being recruited, I was like, I guess a good recruit, but I wasn't like highly rated. Like I was out of high school, I was never going to be like a top pick. So I never even thought of it. Like, you know, I didn't get drafted, which I mean that if you're not going to sign then, or even a chance to sign, they're not going to draft you anyways. Yeah. But like I knew I wasn't even in that range out of high school. So I didn't even think of it being a thing. Even when I get to like college, I'd like continue to have success. So it's just kind of interesting, like how things just kind of happen, you know, which I think is part of it, is a big part of it, which I think I got from my dad. And I also like learned from Corbs when I got there is, you know, just get here and just be quiet, you know, just be quiet and listen. I think that's like something that's really lost nowadays is like, just be quiet, listen, watch, go about your business. And for me, that's something I really bought into. Because like I said, I genuinely, I didn't think I was going to pitch my freshman year just because the guys that were still there, the other guys in my class, like, so I just kind of went in just expecting to just do what I could and just see what happens. The next thing you know, kind of good things happen. So I never thought I was going to be a first rounder, like literally until it happened. Even though, even like going into my junior year, like I hear it like, this could be a first round pick, all that and the other. It's like, it's just talks. Like you don't, like nothing's happened. So it's like whatever, I guess. But so till it happened, that then it kind of all sunk in, which was pretty crazy to think that, you know, I went from never thinking it was possible to it actually happening.
Fifth overall, bro. That's
man. I think that speaks volumes because I mean, you look at the social media thing now. Every kid and every parent thinks you have to go to every single showcase. You have to be a All-American to get drafted and things like that. But I mean, a few guys we had on, it's like you tell their stories and it's just unique of how they got to where they are. Like your fifth pick, you were 20-game winner in a major league. You were World Series winner in the major leagues. It's just about trusting the process and talk about how important that is to buy into the process and buy into your own process, but also within that process, learning how to create a good routine as well.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I think it's difficult, right? Just because your window, I guess, is so small to like make an impact to be able to go play at the next level or wherever it may be. But at the same time, it like, especially in baseball, it takes like just this much of a flash of like doing well that you can get your chance at the next level. So I think I like, again, that's where I have to go back to my parents and my dad being a coach. Like it's okay to struggle. Like it's okay to like not be, like you don't have to succeed right from the start. That's probably me getting my pro ball career more than college, but because I play with some guys who the second they got called up, they're, you know, superstars, which like that's awesome. But that's not going to be everybody. If you can do that, then great. That's impressive. But it's not always the case. For me, it was definitely far from it in pro ball. So I think it's just you have to buy into the process. It's it's easy to say, but it's hard to do. But I mean, I would say more often than not, guys that do really commit to that and stick to their plan, they have success. So it's, like I said, it's different for everyone, but I think for me, that was the best thing I could have done, was buy into that and just kind of continue to grow and grow and grow. And, you know what, like I said, you learn more from success, or you learn more from failure than you do success. Sure. And I think that's so true. Again, kind of one of those cliche sayings, but you can, probably most of you guys in this room have kind of experienced the same thing. So it's a big deal to be able to do that.
No, for sure.
Man, we were in Towers, you know, we got before we even talk about the little draft party that you had, you know.
Yeah.
Can we talk about just like being in Towers, like So tower, it's a separate dorm room from
Slums.
well, it's basically the projects.
It's a project
and
for
Vanderbilt.
sure.
Vandy
Sometimes the
projects.
water don't work.
Roaches.
Yes.
Roaches in Rose room. Then we got
Hey, stop playing.
Boy, afraid of bugs.
There's no way they ever clean that building. No
right.
way.
Like the water sometimes be brown. You got hair in the sink. Like it's crazy. Just the whole tower's experience. But it's kind of like you got all your boys. It's no more school.
It's a fun time.
All your boys are in one between floors of each other.
Yeah.
We're going up and down. You know. Let's just get the people like just like any type of tower experiences before we even talk about the draft party. If you got any fun stuff that happened in towers at all. I mean, I got
We
one.
got one. I know
Yeah.
one. I don't know. I think I know which one you're talking about.
Man,
It was
so-
the next year.
We'll talk about it once he get on here too.
Yeah.
But so we playing cards, you know, down in the
Common area. I
in the
guess you
common
call it.
area.
Yeah.
We're playing cards down there. It's like 6-8 of us, you know, and we go. I tell the homie, I tell Zoe, I'm like, yo, come down. And he's like, all right, bet. Now we live on the same floor. I was like, come down. He said, I'll be down there in about 5 minutes. I'm like, bet. Cool. So we play about 4 hands. He still ain't came down yet.
It's been like 30 minutes.
No, it's been a good hour. And I'm like, is he? I know he ain't sleep, man. You know. And so I call him. He ring like 2 times, go straight to voicemail. I'm like, shit, something's going on.
Something
He's
up.
in trouble right now. I'm like, hey, I'm out this ham. I go upstairs real quick, check on Zoe. And so I go upstairs and I knock on the door. I'm like, hey, bro, you all right? He goes, no, bro, God. He goes, no. I'm like, what's up? Bro, she locked me in here, dog. I'm like, what you mean she locked you in? I'm like, I'm trying to open the door and it's like,
It's not open.
I'm like, why don't you just unlock the door? I've been calling, like, she took my phone. And I'm like, she took your phone. And I'm like, I tell the girl, I'm like, open the door. And she's like, no.
Bro, then we all
He's
get
like,
up there.
He's like, no. I'm like, bruh. And so I call Jules and Kaiser. They come up and it was like a whole thing, like trying to get this man
We
out,
couldn't get
like,
it, bro. It took us at least 1.5 hours to 2 hours
he
to
was
get him
held
out.
hostage.
like he was,
Nah, he really
held
was.
hostage in the room. And
And at one point, she cracked the door open.
oh yeah, she would crack it open. And I'm like, can you like at your age, please like let the man out?
She's
you
like,
know?
no.
And she just looked me dead in my face. She was like, no. And, you know,
And the craziest part is you can see Zoe behind her, just sitting there,
Zoe right
Like,
there,
just
bro.
slumping
right
down
there,
in
just
there.
like.
He just sitting on the bed, bro. I'm like, dude, if you don't get your ass, like, yo, bro, you better get your ass out here, you know?
He's
He
like,
was
bro,
like, man, I
can't."
can't do anything, man. And which I get why he didn't do anything, you know.
Smart
But
move, smart move.
Kaiser was when the Kaiser came up, he was like, grow up, please. Like, just can we grow up one time? You know, like, come on, what are we doing right now? And she opens the door. I'm like,
Oh,
ain't that? So, you know, Kaiser came in, opened the door. I'm like,
That was the craziest.
so we ended up
moment.
going. I'm like, damn, dog, like she had you locked up in here, bro. Like, I couldn't do anything, man. I'm like, you know, so what happened? You know, she basically found some stuff on my man's phone, and she wasn't having it.
Oh,
It wasn't no
she-
situation. She was
it
in a
wasn't
fit,
gonna-
you know.
It
But
wasn't about to go that way.
yeah, that's towers though, man. You know,
You got any tower stories for us?
not really.
Nah.
I tried to spend as little time in that place as possible.
Yeah.
I'd
It's a
go
smart
hang out,
move,
go hang
smart
out the
move.
locker room or something.
But
Yeah.
that's real.
that's true.
I don't even want to take a shower in that.
No,
I think people
never,
showered at the locker room.
I never did.
Yeah,
I
you
would
like-
shower in the
I would
morning.
go
I'd go in
back-
the morning and then at night. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But
crazy.
best time of the year though. At the same time,
It
which
is
is crazy.
It is time.
It's crazy
It
how
is.
much fun you have in there, but that place is disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gone now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Both of them are
It
gone.
was amazing at this point.
Yeah.
You
Had-
know,
Talk about that, the environment in the off season with all some of your former teammates and even guys that you other big leagues and just not even big leagues, other pro guys
Yeah.
were coming to Vandy and working out in the off season.
everybody comes
How is
back
that?
and-
How is that experience, and does that get you prepared for the professional season.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the best things that I think Corbs has ever done is have like that opened up for us to be able to do that, because it's a great environment. Like you come in there and you got, 10 pro guys all working out at all different stages of their pro careers too. You got guys just got drafted, the guys have been playing the big leagues for
years,
X amount of years, which is awesome. So it's like, then for me, like you always got someone to throw with, always got, someone to work out with, and shoot, if a hitter needs some front toss, or I'll go front toss with him. So it's just like, it's a great workout environment. It's really easy to get better in there because of that. And two, it's like same thing. You get to hang out with all your boys. So for me, I still live like working out with Jason DeLay, who was my roommate in college and still my best friend now. So like that's cool too. It allows us to hang out still in that same building and get better. And it's also cool to that point. Like now you get to kind of get to know guys that for me that just got drafted last year who I would have never played with. So I get a chance to get to know them. And I've gotten a chance to know some of the older guys that have been there for a while now that, good buddies with too. So it's a great environment.
So even like one year we had, like just from a player standpoint from a player standpoint, of course, man. Being an active player on the roster at Vandy, then having the professional guys come back, and you get to, like, I got opportunities like to hit with some of those guys. Like, I get out of class, I eat, I go down, I get to hit like with the pro guys, and you get to like soak up that information, and of course it's good about anybody can come through. You got a friend that you play with in pro ball, you can just come through, like it's like, yeah, come on, like work out, hit, throw, like all the whole nine.
Just respect it.
That's they'll practice with us, train with us. They'll train with us sometimes, be in the outfield doing reps, and even some years, I remember Tony Kemp taking live ABs.
That man was in scrimmages with us.
Against Snipes. I remember that.
I remember Reed, bro. Reed was so happy,
That's when Reed came back and he was throwing like a splitter and he didn't even know how he was throwing it, bro.
Yeah.
And Tony's like, what is he throwing?
Trying to figure out like,
what pitch is that?
How you throwing this? And then he didn't know. And then the next day he can't throw no more.
Yeah, man. Like just that, like having pro guys actually play in a live scrimmage with us, and that's a testament to the Corbs and just the environment that he created, for us.
It's great networking. That's where, again, I'll go to Brownie, like on the pitch, Brownie and Bees, and same, like we'll go in there, we're gonna throw a pin, and you got 3 coaches there that know their stuff that you can. So I, like, still in the off season, we still learn from. Like, Snides today was in there with Sammy, and he's working on his slider just to find the sweep. Like that's pretty cool. That they already got enough going on, like with the team and the kids that they have. So for them to do that, but it's kind of mutually beneficial, right? They help us, and then we're obviously always available to talk to any kids they want, but they get information. They can, like I said, for me, like when I came in, like because this Price was still coming over here to throw his bullpens, like Sonny was throwing his bullpens, like that's a big deal. I get to just go watch. Like, I don't,
man, you just soak it in.
Like for me, I don't need to ask anything. I just want to watch, and you just kind of see how their routine in their bullpen, how they prepare, and how they like make adjustments, little stuff. Like it's that when you're that young, you like usually like coming as a freshman, you're just throwing a bullpen. Like there's nothing really to it. Like those guys, it's like, to the point, and that's pretty cool to be able to watch that.
It's really a cheat code.
Yeah.
It's a cheat code. You're a freshman coming in, sophomore, and you get these guys that you watched when you were 8, 9, 10, 12 years old. And it's like they're right here in front of you, throwing a bullpen. They're working out with you, and it's like this doesn't happen. Like to get this type of opportunity, just I'm just gonna just sit here and just take it all in. This is the actual big leaguer, been to the World Series, won the World Series, and I get a front row seat to this.
Yeah.
Have you had that moment like being in the big leagues and just like? I guess you're just watching a bullpen. Somebody's a big name bullpen, and you're just like, damn, like that's really so and so.
Yeah. So I think for me, because I grew up a Braves fan, and the fact that I got drafted by the Braves, like that, like hit me from the second. It just hit me really, really early. So yeah, like anytime I watch Jacob deGrom, like still, like even though I've played against him so many times, it's just like this is unbelievable. Like
That's got to be different.
It's like, yeah, all the guy, like all those types of guys, like it's different, you know, how easy they make it look. It's incredible, but it's pretty cool to be able to do that for sure.
It's like besides the grind, like who else across the league that you get your popcorn ready to watch? You know, they playing against your hitters, you know, but you like, I can't wait to watch this guy go to work, man. You know, from
I'm not
warm-ups.
pitching. I just get to sit here and watch this.
Yeah, there's a lot, but for me, a lot of the guys you like to watch are the bullpen guys, like the guys that come in and
Just throwing
throw cheese.
103.
Like again, Edwin Diaz, like that. I can't imagine what that at bat's like, but that's like special. Another guy, Ryan Helsley with the Cardinals, like he's just throwing thunderbolts. So like I said, I would love watching those guys. Again, I hope we hit a home run off of them, but it's just different seeing those guys. I actually got to watch Ohtani pitch this year, which was pretty cool too. Just watching him do what he does, both sides, like we talked about. That's hard, you know, hard on the body, then actually having to stay locked in both sides. But
like, as a hitter, as a hitter, you know, over time you have your own thing. You do what you do that got you to where you are, and so you kind of stay the same, consistent, you know, with your approach and everything and your mechanics. You know, like me coming in as a freshman, and I got a guy like Rowe, I got a guy like Brian Reynolds, Jaron Kendall, Toffee, like a lot of older guys who've been through it already, and I get to like just take bits and pieces from them. You know, it might be something big, it might be a mental approach, it might be a routine drill that Reynolds does I might take, you know, or something Rose shows me. I'm like, okay, I can add this to my arsenal. So for you, in terms of like professional, like pro ball, have you had any experiences like that where like, okay, I can take this from him, this mindset from him, you know, something like that?
Yeah. I think it definitely starts with like, you have to like, for me, and it took me a while to get to this, you have to know what you do well. Like you have to take that and you've got to like own that and just hit that hard. Yeah. And then like, to your point, then that's kind of when you start finding stuff. Like we had one of my teammates, Colin McHugh, is a reliever. He's got a really good slider, big, huge sweeper. So for me, sometimes on my curveball, I get it to where I'm going too north and south. And so he's like a great guy that I'm like, hey, like, what do you feel on your slider? So if I get mine a little bit more sweepy,
a little bit.
like, so like there's stuff like that I've learned for me is pretty important. And then, you know, I'll find like our good changeup guy. Sometimes like my changeup is just not quite right. Then I go see who's throwing their changeup really well right now. Let's see what he feels on his. So a lot of times it's stuff that just it's like those gentle reminders for me that I get the most from. I think you learn a lot from your fellow starters, like routine and mentality, just from like watching you kind of just like gather, not even realizing. I think like I've had a lot of interviews over the years where, you know, people ask me something and then I realize like the question they're asking is something that I realized I took from Max Fried, not even realize it happened. So like I'm answering a question that I remember like seeing Max do or Max tell me that I like didn't even think that I was taking it. Next thing you know, it just kind of naturally came into my routine, which I think that's something that you don't even think about too. You just like assume you have to grab something or talk to someone or whatever it may be. But sometimes like you just put yourself around good players, good people, good athletes, and guys that just do things the right way. You know, they naturally rub off on you, and you learn good things from them. So
no, for sure, man. How is it competing against other guys that went to Vanderbilt in the show?
It's funny. Yeah, I feel like every time they come to the plate, I want to laugh. Yeah, but you know, you got to lock it back in. So I try to keep it with the quick, like a little hat tip or something like that. But it's just crazy because especially the guys that are here working out still, you're working out with them, and then next thing you know, you got a different uniform on. You're competing against each other. So sometimes you want them to do well, but you know, I want to do better than you just on this time.
Yeah,
so.
I'm gonna get your ass down.
Get you real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's a guy you don't like seeing coming up to the plate?
Well, like somebody like, you know, it's gonna be a challenge. You know, like, okay, I'm about to. He's a bastard, or he's just like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, I go kind of straight to the big dogs like Harper, Soto, Machado. Those guys, like they really like zone into they have their zone, and like that's where they're staying. You know, they're not coming out of it. So that's what I've noticed. Some of like the really good hitters is they're like, if there's a pitch that's not in their zone, even if it's a strike, Just
take it.
don't swing at it until they have to.
Yeah.
And actually, it's kind of funny. Sean Murphy now, who we just traded for, I faced him twice last year, and he's got like a combined 1,000 exit velocity off me. So I'm pretty excited. Every ball he
that's
hit
an
off
easy
me
one. Yep,
was
thank you.
barreled. So I don't have to face him anymore. But I mean, usually like those guys, the big dogs, like, but I mean,
Kind of fun at the same time.
yeah,
though.
everyone's a challenge. So,
Yeah,
but like
that's
those
true.
guys, like you just kind of have to.
Hey,
It's like you can't get away from what you do well, but you gotta be smart with.
I was about to say, like, can it backfire? You trying to like dot up too much, and then you end up just leaving some.
Yeah,
Middle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes you can. That's what happens. That's where they get you. You try to be too fine, and the next thing you know, they get it to an advantage count or a count where they're sitting on a pitch, and then that's where they get you. You know, exactly.
We'll see you.
So
See you, bro.
How does it feel winning a World Series at the highest level? Like we just missed it in college, but you got it at the Mecca.
Ain't nothing higher than that.
Yeah, I know.
And it had a huge impact on it
Huge
as well.
impact.
Like, huge
Yeah.
impact.
For me, it was just a kind of a crazy year entirely. Because I was in AAA the entire year pretty much. And I was having a bad year. I had 2 spot starts in the big leagues. They were both bad. And I got to AAA and it was just kind of okay. And then I had like one bad one, and I was like, all right, we got to hit the reset button. So but that's what we did. And I literally went back we started watching video of kind of what I did, my mechanics here at Vanderbilt, and we tried to get those back and started to get back to use my curveball and sinker more. So then I finished the last 2 months of AAA like really, really strong. I was really good. So I felt like I kind of finally got myself back, if you will. But then once our AAA season ended and postseason started, we were at our we were still in Gwinnett, just staying ready, and literally it was just kind of like we were just playing backyard baseball, if you will, because it was just like we'd pitch. Like I was literally facing like the same 2 hitters for 50 pitches because that's all we had. We had like 2 hitters there. At one point, I feel like I was throwing more footballs than baseballs, like because it was just it was just kind of like such a laid back thing, but like it's kind of miserable, if you will. So you're just trying to. It's probably a bad word, but you're just trying to like stay fresh and have fun, enjoy being there, so that way you can actually be ready to go when it comes time. So then to actually find I was on the World Series roster, that was like, man, like it. That was kind of like that.
real.
Yeah, that word kind of started to come back in, and so then to actually do it and win it, I mean, like I said, there really is no feeling like that. It's just, winning any championship. I'm sure probably my high was the same as y'all's high when you won it. It's. It is. You can't compare it to anything. The one good thing about me winning it though is Walker, Grisani, and Jason DeLay, they would all give me crap because I was the only one like out of all those guys that didn't win it. It was just my class who didn't win.
Dang.
Guys ahead of me and in front of me. And then one day, Grizz got on me. And this is after I won, and I said, "Okay, Grizz," and just kind of. You're right, Grizz.
Oh, boy.
I could finally kind of come back and chirp with them. Before I had to wear it.
Were there any dope stories from that World Series, like after the World Series, the parties, like any dope thing that went on?
Yeah, so after we won, like they had set up like a huge like I had a meeting room in the hotel, and they threw us a big party. So I had food, drinks, everything, and it was like so all the players, all the families, which was cool. And then we had like a bunch of the like there's some other guys over there, like Luke Bryan was in there and his wife, Cole Swindell,
Gotcha.
Chase Rice, a bunch of big Braves fans.
Yeah.
They all came in and hung out with us too. So that was just
That's dope.
it was cool to kind of, they're like I said, they grew up lifelong Braves fans and they kind of, listen to their music, and now they're in here hanging out, partying with us. But the parade was the best thing.
probably
Yeah.
lit,
That
huh?
was like, that made it sink in. You realize like what that meant to a city. And that was like probably like the most proudest moment for me. I'm sure all the other guys, because we did 2 different routes. We did like the original parade route, which was like through like downtown Atlanta. So, I mean, and it was absolutely packed. Like people are back as far as you can see. And then we drove like back to around our stadium. We did that one. It was the same thing. Like more like people as far back as you can see. And like, that's when you realize like, man, like that's when you realize how much like sports can mean to a city. Just when you win that. And that was when like, wow.
Especially for Atlanta though, because
it'd been a while.
the year they had with the Falcons being up on
when they-
Brady and the comeback.
Yeah.
And then
Hawks haven't done anything.
The Hawks ain't done. It's like the Braves
They
finally
needed something.
Yeah.
You know, Atlanta coming through.
Well, the Hawks were doing pretty good in the playoff that year, right?
I think so.
I think they got close.
Yeah,
They got close.
they're doing pretty good because everybody was
It's like,
worried.
now it's on
Everybody
baseball
was
now.
worried because it's like if they go to the finals, it was gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Those parades are a little sketchy though, because the beers start coming from all over. You got to keep your head on a swivel.
Ducking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. I can't imagine.
Who on the team? You know, Chef was on here the other day. Justice was on here, and he was just telling us about the plane rides. You know, and that's where it goes down on the planes. You know, you got any particular stories that stand out to you over your few years with the Braves?
So I usually I hang back, I sit in my seat, I kick my legs up. Me and Austin Riley sat next to each other on the plane this year, so we're usually pretty chill. But then like there's the card table up one, but we always have to kind of keep our head on a swivel because they'll start some of the guys up there playing cards start throwing grapes and snacks back at us, so you kind of can't get too comfortable in the back. But I'm pretty chill on the planes. I like to just
chill.
Stay in my place. I'll let you
Nah, that's
Same dude.
What's the? I know they be betting and stuff. Chefs, they do like $100 hands, and what's the like most outrageous like money put down?
I know it's gotten to the thousands, and I know when it's getting into the thousands because like same thing. I'll be sitting in my chair whenever you hear the whole like the next cabin up erupt. That's when I know there was some serious money on that, and somebody that made a bad decision lost a bunch of money or something. But that's how you know it was at least in the thousands.
Yeah, definitely a lot of F-bombs.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't talked about it yet, but you had a teammate that you played with at Vandy that you playing with now. Hopefully, you know that you playing with for the past few years. You know, like how was that? You know, getting to play with your shortstop again.
Yeah,
you know?
it's cool. I don't know too many people that can say that you know played with each other in college and now kind of get into the same thing in pro ball. But man, it's fun. Dansby, he's such a good teammate, good person, and you know, like I said, I've known him for a long time now, and you know, he's still the same guy, just wants to win, right? And he's a guy that you want on your team. He's a guy for me, especially me. I'm a big ground ball guy, so knowing I've got a guy like him behind me who makes. I feel like he makes all the plays, you know. He makes hard plays look like it was nothing. So but yeah, he's such a good teammate. He's a ton of fun to play with. He's a great locker room guy. Hopefully we bring him back. But
hey, Braves don't mess around.
Yeah, but you know, obviously
shout out, he just got married too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go to the wedding?
I did, yeah. It was fun. It was fun. It was same thing. Good to see a bunch of the guys back together. So some of the older guys I haven't seen in a while, which is another cool thing that you know.
DJ or band?
He did DJ, yeah.
Of course, you gotta go DJ.
They had to.
He from the A.
Yeah, they had to play all their Atlanta music. So
yeah, man. Shit, man, that's a
wrap.
I got anything else, man?
No, man,
That was
that's a
good.
wrap.
That was a lot of work. I like it.
No, I appreciate you coming on, dog, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best of luck to you in this upcoming season.
Hey, follow that man.
Thank you, guys.
Cal Wright, man.
Dub.
Cal Wright, Dub, man.
20 winner. The 20 winner.
wins. We can't gloss over that though. That's 20 wins in the show, bro.
No, yeah, man. How, I know, like I saw you in the locker room. I mean, in the weight room, and asked you, like, tell the people, 20 wins in the big leagues it's crazy.
Yeah,
like it's really, really crazy. And I know you're probably not thinking about it, but after the fact, after the season, you look back and you're like, man, I just won 20 games in the show.
Yeah, that's the one where I didn't realize how cool it was because now, like, kind of how we're growing up, it's, you know, kind of advanced analytics, like wins, losses don't mean as much anymore. And, you know, it's about this stat versus this stat, which I agree with to an extent. But it's kind of, I talked to my dad about this, like, at the end of the day, what is the objective? The objective is to win, you know? And for me, it's really cool because, like, the win-loss, like I said, I get credit for the 20 wins. That's where I didn't realize how cool it was till after it happened. And, you know, literally every coach came up to me, teammates, and I just knowing for how bad I struggled to then have this year was special for a lot of different reasons. But to do that, but I think, like, for me, it's kind of like the ultimate, you know, it's the ultimate team stat for a pitcher, right? Yeah. Like that's because the boys got to play good to win a game.
The defense got to be on point.
Like I said, and that's where I can understand, you know, some new stats can kind of discount wins and losses, which I understand it, but at the same time, like, had to at least do something right. I had to pitch good sometimes to get those wins. So, ultimate team stat. Just feels good when you take them out. You got a good chance to win, and that's my only goal. That's what I want to do. So,
it's cool.
cool.
We all happy for you, man. Congrats on all your success, man.
Appreciate it,
A roommate.
Y'all got a clown on the team? Like somebody in the locker room, like it's always like the jokester type person, or two people who go back and forth a lot.
The bullpen, the entire bullpen.
Shit, always go down to the bullpen.
Bullpen be cracking.
Bro, from summer ball to just it never changes. The bullpen
Always
is like,
the bullpen.
It's a shit show.
They don't know what they do.
They're hilarious. They're always they're the life of everything. So
Okay. Well, that's it, man. Like, comment, subscribe. On the channel.
2% with 2 T's.
The 2%, 2 T's on the gram. And Cal Wright, of course. And look forward. Let us know who you guys want on the pod. And
We'll be back.
Peace out.
appreciate you, boys.
Deuces. Yes, sir.